Welcome to the astrology of October. Now that we are on the other side of a super intense eclipse season, the first part of October is going to give us a chance to regain our equilibrium, to get back into balance. And when Venus enters Libra, the party is on. It is time to go out and have more social time, more fun. After all, fun is an essential nutrient. But when the sun enters deep diving Scorpio on the 23rd of the month, and we will have 3 planets in Scorpio by that point, the energy will shift. You could realize a profound truth that brings a breakthrough. After all, Scorpio is the sign of passion, but also the sign of death and rebirth. And so in this video, my friend, I am excited to share with you the key transits of the month, including their dates. You may want to get a pen, paper, or your laptop and jot down these dates. I want to share with you how you can best navigate what may be wonderful highs, but also some lows that can lead to breakthroughs and more emotional freedom. And this is what I'll be sharing with you in part 1 of this video. And then in part 2, I will do your monthly horoscopes for each of the 12 signs based on your rising sign. Listen to your sun and moon signs as well, because you will get further themes that may be relevant, as well as intuitive messages from the oracle cards. If you are brand new to the channel, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome. It is my intention to create a like-minded community. If you're highly sensitive, if you resonate with being on a spiritual path or ascension journey, you have found your tribe, take a moment to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Welcome back to those of you who've been watching my videos. Thank you so much for subscribing. Your support means everything to me. Thank you for being in my court. And if you don't know me, I am Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer and intuitive life coach, and I love helping to empower and inspire you and give you practical tips to work with Western tropical astrology. It is my joy to do readings for you one-on-one. So if you are intrigued, stay tuned till the end of this video where I will share with you a little bit more about my readings. I also have a free gift for you. Stay tuned till the end to find out about what that is and how you can get it. And if you'd like to receive my weekly inspirational astrology updates, I write about the astrology between videos. If you want to get those to your inbox directly, go to my website, sign up for free, and you will get my free gift, instant download, at the same time. So as the month begins, and for the first 3 weeks through the 22nd, the sun will be in Libra. Libra is a cardinal air sign. It's an initiating energy. It's go-getting. And the air of Libra means that there's a desire to communicate. There's a desire for harmony and balance and mutual reciprocity in our relationship. In Libra energy, we can sense, we can feel when a relationship is imbalanced, or when something doesn't feel quite right, it doesn't feel quite fair, when we perhaps are giving more than we're receiving. And this is one of the ways that we will regain our sense of balance during the month of October. That cardinal initiating energy is our desire to move forward, to capture some forward momentum and make progress. And that is also part of the first several weeks of the month. Libra also rules justice. So if you've been wanting justice in your life, whether that's on a very practical level or a sense of karmic justice, you may see that materialize as well. This is a great time to seek out advice from someone you trust, a confidant, or an expert. Don't try to go it alone, my friend. In Libra energy, we do better when we team up with another person, and that can be as simple as connecting with a friend or someone who has an expertise that we don't have, and partnering with them, getting support for the result that we desire. Now, going back to October 1st, Mercury in Libra, representing the desire for harmony, teamwork, and smooth flowing communication, really working together. Mercury in Libra is going to make a square, that's tension or pressure, to Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer is more focused on what will make you feel emotionally secure, emotionally safe, what's best for the family. Cancer wears the shell on its back, right, to protect itself, because there is such a soft center, a soft heart. With Jupiter in Cancer, it's very expansive. It's good fortune and blessings, but we don't want to be emotionally hurt. We don't want to get hurt. And with Mercury squaring Jupiter in Cancer, what we want to be aware of is not sacrificing our own emotional needs for the sake of preserving harmony and agreeability with another person. Sometimes a transit like this can bring confusion or mental overload, or just a question of, will my own personal emotional needs, and we have to pay attention to that, will they be taken care of? So this is a transit where pausing, breathing, slowing down the mind and being discerning about what you say or what you agree to, maybe saying, I need to get back to you on that. In other words, if there's too much of a question mark in your mind, then you might want to ask for guidance and wait for clarity. Now, from October 1st to the 13th, Venus, the ruler of Libra, Venus is still in the earth sign of Virgo. The archetype of Virgo is the practical healer. So Venus in Virgo wants to make plans. She wants to focus on the daily stuff of life, our health, our work, our schedules, our routines. Venus in Virgo can be a bit of a taskmaster, but all for the goal of reaching a sense of optimal health, purifying anything that needs to shift so that we can feel more calm, balanced, and peaceful. The thing to watch out for in this energy, we want everything to be just right. We can seek perfection, and this can be crazy making in our mind, right? Because remember, Venus in Virgo, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is our thoughts, our thinking. We can get too much in our head. The mind can be a bad neighborhood. So my advice for you during the first half of the month, when Venus is in Virgo, the 1st to the 13th, is if all the pieces of something that you're trying to make happen are not coming together, you might want to do some shadow work on your fears. Many of us are going to have to release the need to be in control. Our human selves want to, make it all happen. We want to make it happen up here in our head, but there's an element of surrender, relaxing, and allowing ourselves to receive divine guidance as well. If we can't figure it all out, if it's not all coming together, then maybe we need to just be for a bit and receive guidance and do our prayers and release our fears. You get the idea. On October 6th, Mercury will enter Scorpio, and this may take us to our emotional depths in our thinking, in our inner narrative, how we are describing in our mind what's going on or how we're talking about it with other people. Scorpio energy is your inner detective. We have a very discerning lie detector part of us, wherever you have Scorpio in your chart. It's a very strong psychic sense. So with Mercury in Scorpio, the superpower of it is that we can usually get to the truth pretty quickly. There's a need to set boundaries. There's a desire to get to the truth of the matter, the heart of the matter. It's really good energy for deep diving conversations, for being fiercely honest with yourself, being honest with other people, and being willing to go into those murky waters, maybe situations that feel complicated, and being willing to call a spade, share your vulnerabilities. Because after all, Scorpio energy is co-ruled by Pluto. Pluto is the god of the underworld. So again, another opportunity to do shadow work, to face our fears, process our fears, but also it can be very passionate energy. It's connected to sexual and emotional intimacy. So Mercury in Scorpio can be amazing, deep, passionate, sexy, exciting new developments as well. On October 6th and 7th, depending on your time zone, we will have a full moon in Aries, the fire sign of Aries. Aries is known for being bold, courageous, taking a leap of faith, the Fool in the tarot deck. Leap and the net will appear. It's a full moon. Full moons represent endings, completions, culminations, manifestations. It can be a moment of, this is how far I've come. It can feel like a graduation moment. Aries is always asking, even on a full moon, Aries is always asking, what is the new territory? What is the new thing the new sparkly, shiny thing that I want to go for? So there's an energy with this full moon of stepping out, of gathering the courage, gathering our boldness. And one of my favorite quotes is Eleanor Roosevelt says, doing the thing you think you cannot do, taking a risk, Aries is ruled by Mars, and so you may experience this full moon in your physical body. You may feel a strong drive and motivation. And this is one of the things I will talk with you about in the 12 sign readings. But who will most feel this full moon? And I always do separate videos for you on each of the new and the full moons. If you have planets or points within a few degrees of 14 degrees where this full moon will be, planets or points between 10 and 18 degrees of Aries or the other cardinal signs of Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, you will feel this full moon most intensely. We will all feel it because we all have 14 degrees of Aries somewhere in our natal astrology chart. But there's an added intensity to this full moon because Mercury is approaching during the full moon. One day later, it will have an exact square, Mercury exactly squaring Pluto, retrograde in Aquarius. So what does this mean? It means a conversation, a communication, an idea. Often it comes from information or news that you didn't have before that activates an unconscious fear within us. Or it shows us where a person, situation, environment is different than we thought it was, and that can be shocking. It can feel deceptive. It can be very emotionally upsetting. But of course, it shows us a truth that we needed to see. And in that way, it's protecting us, right? Rejection as God's protection. And so just know that around this full moon time, especially the day of, the day after, all of the transits that I'm talking about in this video, you could feel a few days before, a few days after. Just know that we may be called to face a fear and process it so that we can release it. What I love is that on October 8th, just after Mercury squares Pluto, we have a lovely transit of Venus in Virgo. And remember, she's the practical healer. She's connected to our health and beauty, and because it's Venus, this is finances as well. Venus in Virgo will make a beautiful, harmonious sextile to Jupiter in Cancer, and Jupiter in Cancer is expansive, bringing us blessings and good fortune. But a sextile is an opportunity. It could be something that allows you to resolve what just happened with that Mercury-Pluto square. It could be a solution, a way of seeing, a way of thinking, clarity, or breakthrough that allows you to resolve whatever is happening, but also it can just be a wonderful new opportunity. Not everyone will feel all of these transits intensely. It will depend on whether they are activating a natal planet or point in your unique astrology chart. But I think Venus sextiling Jupiter in Cancer is going to be one of the most productive and feel-good transits of this month. As long as you take initiative, it's not something that just lands in your lap. We have to make the phone call. We have to ask the question. We have to request. We have to advocate for ourselves sometimes. We have to be looking out for the opportunity and then claim it as ours when we see it. On October 11th, Venus in Virgo will make an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. In some ways, Saturn retrograde in Pisces represents what is leaving our lives, what is no longer good for us, what isn't supportive to us. Venus in Virgo opposing Saturn, that can also be on a very practical level, that someone in authority is saying no, someone is causing a delay, there are more hoops you have to jump through, or there's extra work that you have to do, or somehow, when we've got Venus opposing Saturn, it's like Venus wants to be cared for, to be nurtured, to receive what she needs. She wants beauty and harmony. And in Virgo, she wants her problem, whatever the problem is or the issue, she wants it to be solved. She wants to make a plan. She wants things to be set up in a way that is optimal to get the result that she wants. But on the other side, Saturn can be another person, an institution, somebody saying, you can't have what you want, or at least not in the way that you want it. And so the way that I would encourage you to handle a situation like this, if it comes up for you, is to get very clear about what it is that you need. Venus in Virgo, it's very practical. It's not usually you're asking for something that is over the top luxurious or impossible to achieve. It's practical. And if it's important enough to you, you will know it when Saturn opposes Venus. You will know if the delay is worth, or the no is worth pushing. If it's worth surrendering, sometimes, especially Saturn retrograde in Pisces, there's an element of surrender, but there can also be, and I really encourage this, an opportunity to call on spirit, to call on the divine. You could experience this as a release of a karmic soul contract, somebody not showing up for you in some way and you realizing they're no longer on my side, I'm not aligned with them anymore. We could be releasing past karma with this transit. Interestingly, just 2 days later, on October 13th, Venus is going to leave Virgo and enter Libra. And Venus in Virgo versus Venus in Libra are very different energies, because Venus in Libra is like, who can I talk to get the result I want? Who can I work with? This is teamwork, right? It's teamwork with the divine. We're partnering with the divine. We're partnering with anybody that we reach out to. It's air, it's communication. And so I have a sense that with Venus and Virgo, we can be very focused on our analytical mind, analysis paralysis. We can have trouble seeing the big picture, the forest from the trees. So when Venus enters Libra, I think we're going to be coming up for air. We're going to be done with being stuck in the weeds of the mind and ready to see the bigger picture. So this could feel like a lovely shift from overthinking to the lightness of air. I'm getting an image of hot air balloons right now, floating above it all. So we may want to just step back between the 11th and the 13th and take a break from trying to figure something out if it's not working the way we want it to. Also remember, Libra wants to balance the scales of justice, including karmic justice. And we often get the support we need through partnerships, best friendships, or working with some sort of expert or advisor professional. However, as soon as Venus enters Libra, I have to say that she will oppose Neptune retrograde in Aries. And it's really interesting that Venus in Virgo just opposed Saturn retrograde in Pisces. What does this mean? Whatever is not aligned with us, the universe is going to show us around this time in October. If there are cracks in our vision or our dream, Neptune rules our dream, Neptune rules the highest octave of divine love. But in Aries, it's what is the new thing that I'm going for? What is my new goal or soul's trajectory? So you could realize with Venus opposing Neptune, it's kind of the classic, I thought this person was this way, but they're actually this way. It's the rose-colored glasses coming off. I now see their true colors. And that's hard. I just really want to acknowledge that is hard. Like, that can really bring disappointment to your heart and frustration and sadness. But fortunately, the next day, there is new energy flowing in. And as I go through the dates of this month, this is something that I noticed. You may notice this as well, my friend, that there tends to be these more difficult transits, but then a day or two later, really positive transits that move us out of that darker place into the light. So the new energy flowing in between October 14th and 15th is Venus making a grand trine in air. What is a grand trine? A grand trine is 3 different planets flowing energy to one another. And it's a triangle, so it's a supportive, very, like a triangle is a platform of support. In air, this is communications, ideas, possibilities, working together, that theme of teamwork. Venus in Libra will make a trine to Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini represents new ideas, new possibilities, thinking outside of the box, getting rid of the box altogether and coming up with a completely different solution, but also being open to signs and synchronicities. And trines are things that tend to just come in, just tend to fall into our lap. So we do want to be really aware of other possibilities and not be stuck in grief. Grief is important. If something happens that's upsetting, of course, we're going to go through that. But also, this is why I love astrology, because I can let you know that just one day after you could feel like a plan has fallen apart, just one day later, somebody shows up and knocks on your door and says, let me help you. That's a metaphor, of course. It doesn't often happen exactly that way. But not only this, part of this grand trine in air is going to be Venus in Libra making a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. So this is very supportive of anything that you're creating in your future. It's intellectually stimulating. It encourages inventiveness, even rebelliousness, challenging something if you feel very strongly about it and you get a sense that you might be able to create a change there. We are really ready and open to changing things up mid-month with something that is likely very important to you. If you have an opportunity to network, to be social, to express your passion, I would say definitely do it during this time. Interestingly, on October 14th, when this grand trine in air is happening, Pluto will also station direct. It's been retrograde since May 4th. And so that's about 5 months. It is the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth. And when it stations, when any planet stations, and this is Pluto after all, Pluto is known for shocks, we feel it more intensely on the days that it stations. I call it the great detoxifier. Pluto can either pull us forward, the passion of what we want can have such a strong force of pulling forward, but it can also push us through pain. But it's also the planet of empowerment. It wants to empower us. And in a grand trine in air, that's empowerment through conversations and ideas, making things happen. So this could be a breakthrough moment for you. And when a planet is in direct motion, as it will be, Pluto starting October 14th, it tends to show up more in our external reality. On October 17th, the sun in Libra will make a square. That's tension, that's pressure, that's a need to take action, a square to expansive Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer focused on emotional security. So what does this mean? A sun square Jupiter is often very positive. We're super enthusiastic. Yes, it's a square. There's an intensity to it. With all squares, there's a feeling of I have to take some sort of, I have to make some sort of move. But sun, the sun is our life force. And in Libra, it's often, something that we're doing with another person or people. We're working together. There's collaboration. It's social. Squaring Jupiter in Cancer. I mean, this could come down to just be like, I'm meeting a friend for dinner and I have one more drink than I planned on having. We just have to be mindful of not overdoing, of not, overextending ourselves, making sure that we're aware of what makes us feel emotionally safe. My encouragement for this transit is not to self-abandon, not to push our own needs into the background for the sake of harmony with others. It's very easy in Cancer energy to do that, to sort of have little, it can be very subtle, little whispers of your soul that come up and say, ask the person about this, or don't forget to check this off your list. This is important too. But when we're in that sun and Libra energy with other people, we can easily sidestep any of those little details that the Cancer heart within us wants to make sure that those needs and those details are taken care of. And sometimes in Cancer energy, we're afraid to ask for too much. We're afraid that we will be considered demanding. We're afraid that other people will think that we're too needy. But the sun squaring Jupiter is saying, no, don't abandon yourself out of those fears. If somebody else is not receptive to your concerns, what you need to feel secure, then they're truly not in alignment with you, my friend, and somebody else will be. Now, on October 20th, Mercury is going to come together with Mars. Mars and Mercury in Scorpio is a very dynamic, passionate, again. I think this is going to be a passionate month. I love that about October. Mercury and Mars coming together in Scorpio, that is full steam ahead. Let's do this. And Mercury, again, communication, ideas, possibilities, our thinking. Something I think is clicking here. There's something that we want to take action on. This is a very high energy transit. And it's also really good for having a deep conversation, sharing your vulnerabilities, sharing your truth, as long as you feel safe with that person. I think this is going to be quite a passionate day. And just one day later, on October 21st, we'll have a new moon in Libra. New beginnings, fresh starts, a new vision, setting intentions for what is most important to you. During this new moon, what will be on the minds and hearts of a lot of us will be the desire for a mutually reciprocal, loving relationship, or just very healthy dynamics and partnerships. And when I say partnerships, this is Libra energy. It's anyone that is an anchor in your life. They don't have to be a romantic partner. It can be business partners, but it can also be somebody that you, like with my daughters, we're always texting back and forth. That is an anchor. They are an anchor in my life. And clearly I am in theirs as well. And so part of what will be up for us is that desire for that mutual give and take and harmony and reciprocity, but also, again, this theme of emotional safety and security. There's an element of healing to this new moon. I'll do a separate video for you on it where I go much deeper into the aspects that are going on during the new moon. But This new moon makes an opposition to Chiron in Aries, and Chiron represents healing a core wound, abandonment, betrayal, or shame. And it's an opposition, so it's likely that somebody else says or does something that could potentially, again, if this is activating any planets or points in your natal chart, could potentially trigger a need to heal something, a moment of ouch, a moment of, that wound got reopened or that tenderness is present. And it could have to do with family stuff. And so a good question for this new moon is everyone involved getting their needs met? Who will most feel this new moon? It's happening at 28 degrees. So if you have planets or points between 24 and 29 degrees of Libra or the other cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, or Capricorn, you will feel this most intensely. Or if you have planets or points between 0 and 2 degrees of the fixed signs of Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, or Taurus. And of course, we will all feel it wherever we have 28 degrees of Libra in our natal astrology charts. On October 22nd, Neptune is going to retrograde back into Pisces, and this is quite significant because it's the last pass of Neptune in Pisces. That means our last opportunity for learning and growth, letting go of what has ended, what is no longer meant to be part of our soul's journey. It's a very karmic energy, Pisces energy. It does represent endings. It does represent letting wash away an old self, our past, our losses, where we felt defeated, where we have felt not empowered, self-doubt, and more. I will do a separate video for you on this transit because it is a big deal. Neptune having its last pass in Pisces represents the old era leaving. And this is a transit we won't have again for another 164 years, Neptune and Pisces. It will re-enter Aries January 26th of 2026. So between October 22nd and January 26th, you could find yourself going back, revisiting the themes of a deep longing not being materialized yet in your life, the need for forgiveness, the need for compassion, both with yourself and with others, and partnering with the divine, which is what my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, is about. I teach you how to partner with your soul on this earthly journey as a spiritual being having a human experience, which is not easy, right? On October 24th, the sun in Scorpio will take its turn to square Pluto in Aquarius. So this will make 3 squares to Pluto in Aquarius. Mars squared Pluto towards the end of September. Then we had Mercury squaring Pluto, and then this will be the 3rd one, the sun squaring Pluto. So there's something going on clearly. And what I believe it is for a lot of us is becoming aware of the unconscious fears that can be driving our behavior, our desire to control a situation so that we'll feel safe. After all, Pluto energy is connected to the 8th house of our emotional attachments. It's our finances, it's our emotional and physical intimacy. It can be the deepest, darkest fears that come up around, will I be safe? Will I be secure? Will I get my foundational needs met? Now, a sun square Pluto can be super high energy. It is fabulous energy for pushing through a difficult project. It can be great for advocating for yourself, for calling someone out if you need to call them out. If you are triggered emotionally during this transit, my encouragement for you is to be fiercely honest with yourself about what's going on, to prioritize what you know your heart wants and needs, and to draw really clear boundaries. But just as much as a situation like that could happen, you could also experience a big opening, a positive opening of empowerment and the desire and the courage to take something on that maybe you didn't feel ready for before. What's cool is that the very same day, there is a super positive transit going on of Mercury in Scorpio trining Jupiter in Cancer. So we had the squares of, the Libra energy with Jupiter and Cancer, and now we have some flowing aspects because Scorpio is water and Cancer is water. So Mercury in Scorpio is flowing with Jupiter, and this can be information, ideas, conversations, new possibilities that are very supportive of your Cancer energy, of your emotional needs. It's another really good time to have heart-to-heart honest conversations, but they just happen easily. And you could have a profound realization that allows you to release a fear or see an inner block just dissolve. Something that's been holding you back for a while emotionally could finally be ready to release, especially if you have faced it during some of the months earlier, harder transits that I spoke about before this. Purify is a good word for this month. We do want to let ourselves purify anything that feels sticky or icky or stagnant or triggering. We do want to face it and work with it. And this is something that I do with clients in coaching sessions as well. On October 25th, Mercury in Scorpio will make a trine to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So another flowing aspect. Mercury in Scorpio, conversations, information, communication that is supporting something stable, a structure, something that we're building, a plan. It's a long-term endeavor, or it's something that we want to be long-lasting. I absolutely love this transit. It is solidifying. To me, it's like you're getting information, or you're having a very supportive communication with another person, or it can be anyone, it can be an institution. It is Saturn after all. Now saying, yes, you can have this. Yes, we're supporting you in this. This is something solid and you can rely on it. However, I want you to keep in mind, this is nothing that we should be alarmed about, but I think it's important to mention. And that is the next day, Mars in Scorpio is going to come together exactly with Black Moon Lilith. And if you don't know about Black Moon Lilith, it is an energy that often, when triggered, brings up our absolute worst, darkest fears. I mean, this is the darkest of dark things that can come up. I believe they are connected to real past life experiences that we did have, that were often very, very dark. I can't find a better word to describe it than that. Obviously different for everyone, but it can be catastrophic thinking, for example. And so how do you work with this energy? If we are willing to be the spiritual warrior and go into the fear, that's what we're meant to do. It's Scorpio energy. Go into the fear. Don't escape it. Don't push it down. Don't just have a glass of wine so you don't have to think about it anymore. I know these are all very human tendencies, but Black Moon Lilith, especially Mars conjuncting Black Moon Lilith, is saying we have to go into it, lean into the fear, feel it somatically, feel it in your body. There are lots of tools that I have for that I share with people in coaching. You might want to do EFT tapping on it if you know about tapping. There are many videos on YouTube that you can follow for tapping. It's one of my favorite modalities for moving through fear. But if we face it, we identify it, and we move through the fear, it's very unlikely, in my experience, to actually play out in this reality, only coming up to be processed. And then the next 2 days, we have 2 more lovely trines. So you can see how the very last days of the month, we're getting this beautiful, other than the Mars conjunct Black Moon Lilith, we are getting so much beautiful flowing energy. On October 28th, Mars in Scorpio will trine Jupiter in Cancer. And this is a blessing that you can take action on. This is feeling expanded and excitement in your heart, a green light. This is a green light for endeavors that make you feel more emotionally secure. On October 29th, Mercury in Scorpio will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And I'm going to give you one sentence for this, and it is, I got what I want. I got it. Someone else says yes to you, you get new information, you get the divine download that you needed, and it's making you feel really, really good in your heart. And on the same day, later that day, October 29th, Mercury will leave Scorpio and enter Sagittarius, the sign of adventure, of enthusiasm. Let me tell you what I think about this. Let me share the good word. That's Sagittarius energy. The seeker, the quest, a very strong desire for freedom, Mercury in Sag. And so you could feel like you got something new, some new information, or a new idea, or you have a new story that's going on in your head now about your life that is all about freedom. It's all about forward movement, even planning a trip maybe to, a foreign land. A heads up for everyone, Mercury is going to turn retrograde in November. I will talk about this in my November video. But from November 9th to the 29th, Mercury will retrograde in Sagittarius and in Scorpio. So if you are planning something during that time frame that is very, very important to you, that you don't want to have to redo with Mercury retrograde, we are focused on reviewing, looking back, changing things up. Often plans get changed, glitches, you all know all about this. But sometimes if we're planning an important date, like a proposal or a wedding or a surgery even, if it's elective and you can avoid Mercury retrograde, that's advisable. On October 30th, Mercury in Sagittarius, almost immediately after it moves into Sag, Mercury will make an opposition to Uranus in Gemini. Unexpected news, information that feels discombobulating, disruptive communication, just something that you weren't planning on that comes from another person, it comes from outside of you, or it could be, a divine download that's very different from what you thought. That is happening on October 30th, but at the same time, fortunately, Mercury in Sagittarius will make a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. So there is an energy of empowerment. We are supported by a sextile to maybe look in a different direction, to maybe align with a new idea, a new possibility, or maybe we're doing some research, that's Mercury too, and it feels very positively transformational and super empowering. And lastly, I want to share with you that Jupiter in Cancer this month of October, it's making what we call an applying trine to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Applying means it's moving, Jupiter's moving toward the degrees where Saturn retrograde in Pisces is. And in the very last few days of October, they will be just 1 degree apart. So this is wonderful flow and support by Jupiter in Cancer toward Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And Saturn, again, it represents something long lasting, a structure. In Pisces, our ability to let go of what's not working, more ease in connecting with our hearts and connecting with the divine and surrendering and getting support from spirit, but also more hope, more optimism, feeling emotionally supported, and most importantly, feeling like we're building a platform of supportive energy for whatever is most important to us this month. Okay, my friend, now that I have done the full lowdown on the month, make sure you watch part 1 of this video so you don't miss all of the tips that I give along the way for each of the transits. Now I want to do the 12 sign readings. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your chart corresponding to the area of your life in which you will be feeling the new and full moons and the other transits that I discuss. Listen to your sun and moon signs as well so you can get further themes and messages from the cards that may very well apply to your life. Let's start with Scorpio. Happy birthday for those of you who have birthdays in October. Scorpio, the focus for you this month as we move toward your season, your Scorpio season, which begins on the 23rd, between the 1st and the 22nd, you may find yourself in preparation mode, preparing to come out in your season. In other words, balancing your inner life with your daily life, your routines, your commitments, your health practices, balancing both of those. It could be a deeply reflective time. And I'm saying this because the month begins in Libra season, the first few weeks, and that's with the sun in your 12th house. So the sun in the 12th house, you've probably already experienced this, it illuminates our inner world. It is a house of rest and retreat. It is very mystical. It is connected to the subconscious mind. We can have deep, intense dreams and spiritual awakenings and moments of astral travel and amazing experiences that are very spiritual can happen with the sun transiting the 12th house. We can also have more health stuff come up or more issues with work happen or just a desire to change the way our mind is working and co-creating the rhythm of our daily life. So with the sun in the 12th house, any of those things could be coming up for you. We're going to have an Aries full moon. That's our first big lunation of the month, and that is going to be in your 6th house, across from your 12th house. So the 12th and 6th house axis are illuminated for a lot of the month. The Aries full moon for you in your 6th house, it's bringing an ending, a completion, a graduation moment, a manifestation in this house of daily work, health, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, optimal health. habits. This could bring up the ending of a job or the beginning of wanting to do something different, wanting to be self-employed, wanting to retire, some of you, wanting to shift how you do your days if you're self-employed, how you do your routines, how the flow of your the days that you work and the rhythm. There's that word rhythm is very important, because how we do our life is how we do one thing. You may have heard this before, is how we do everything. And you could really feel that this month in particular. Some of you are releasing a habit. Some of you are, realizing that something about a work situation isn't healthy for you, whether it's a boss or a coworker dynamic or just the work that you do. That's the full moon. In Aries energy, we want excitement. We want to be, we're on the cutting edge in Aries energy. You already know the Scorpio because you have Aries in your 6th house of work. So you have to be passionate about your work. You have to feel like you're always growing, stretching, reaching, going for the next goal, stretching yourself when it comes to work and taking care of your body and feeling in alignment with your own spirit. That's important for you. Now, the new moon in Libra is going to happen in your 12th house. And I already mentioned before, the sun in Libra in your 12th house. So a new moon, new beginnings, intentions, planting those seeds, as we say, for what your heart most wants. It's the 12th house. So it's like, how do you want to expand? How do you want to grow? How do you want to weed your garden? You could even feel like there's more weeding than seeding during this new moon, because the 12th house is often connected to past lives and karmic relationships and things that we're trying to, to make that first soil fertile. We're taking out what is connected to past life dynamics or losses or emotional difficulty that we don't want to color our creations in this life or to be part of our creation process. But it is a new moon. It's in Libra. That's relationship focused often. That is where we want companionship. We want to work on a team. We want to feel supported. We want to support others, all of those things. And the 12th house is also connected to certain environments like prisons and hospitals, places where spas, places where people recuperate, or where they, places of wellness. So that could bring up a desire for you to want to work in an environment that fosters that kind of support for others or for yourself. Now, Scorpio, the energy will shift when the sun enters your sign. Why do I say this? Well, first of all, the sun will be in your 1st house, but not only that, Mercury and Mars will also be in your 1st house. So that's this party going on in your 1st house, celebrating your birthday. And that's a lot of assertive energy, especially with Mars there. Very, very assertive. It's great for advocating for yourself. It's great for, putting yourself first. It's all 1st house transits, they affect our partnerships as well, because they're across from the 7th house. So that's always a dynamic that's going on. But the sun, Mercury, and Mars in your 1st house is a call to focus on what your heart wants, to set boundaries where necessary, to decide if something isn't working for you, whether it's a relationship or a dynamic or a job or a home situation, whatever it is. The 1st house is your identity. It's your roles and your appearance and your vitality. So this is very important. And with Mercury here, that's our communication. So your communications are definitely going to be part of, very much front and center for you for much of the month. But when the sun moves into your sign, you're going to feel it even more intensely. And I think a lot of us and a lot of you Scorpios are going to get some sort of revelation, have some sort of a breakthrough. The energies, as I speak about in part 1 of this video, are very supportive of us getting to the truth of any fear that we've had and seeing it and purging it and releasing it. And this doesn't mean that this is a month of tears and all of that. It means it's a month of being really honest with ourselves and not sweeping under the rug anything that, it's the shadow. Scorpio, you are well aware of the shadow. The shadow is our lightest light and our darkest dark. It's not just, the part of us that we don't want to own. The shadow is where we abandon ourselves. And this month is saying if we are abandoning ourselves in any way, shape, or form, this is the month we're getting so much support for not doing that this time around, not putting our needs or the quiet whispers of our soul about what's important for us to act on, not pushing that down, letting it come up and actually acting on it and realizing we can get our needs met. That's what I love about this transit, realizing we can get our needs met. We can take care of our hearts, and that just makes everything better for everyone, because if people don't know what you need, then how are they supposed to help you make it happen? So Scorpio, let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful Scorpio. Your card is the Moon Goddess Higher Power. I love it. Look at this image. She is one with the moon. She is merging her energy with the moon's energy. I love this practice of looking at the full moon and pulling the moon's energy in, pulling it into your heart, pulling it into every cell of your body. You are a moon goddess. You might want to claim that. After all, it's your season, Scorpio. It's the season of your identity and claiming who you are. Merging with your higher power, connecting with your higher power. Maybe it's merging with your future self. Knowing that you are the moon goddess or the moon god, whatever resonates for you. And if you want to claim this, your simpatico, your connection with your higher power, or claiming your god or goddess identity, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra. Happy birthday to those of you who have birthdays in October. Libra, the focus of the first few weeks of this month with the sun still in your sign, and that's most of the month, is going to be on your sense of self, your vitality, your most important relationships. This is your time to shine, Libra. This is your time to shine. Expressing your true colors. That is the theme, the biggest theme of this month for you. Mercury is in your sign for the first 6 days of the month. Then Venus will enter your sign and join the sun and Mercury. And this is a lot of support for you to receive clarity and to feel attractive, to feel beautiful. The Aries full moon, which is happening in your 7th house of partnerships across from you, this is where you interact with others, and partnerships, of course, I mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. If you're new to me, partnerships are not just romantic, they're also business connections and people who are anchors in our life. We have their back, they have our back. These are people that we see as very important to our thriving in our life. They bring us blessings. They make us feel more secure. And Libra, of course, you are the sign of relationships. You're ruled by Venus, partnerships, relationships. People have that mutuality, that mutually reciprocal give and take is very, very important to you. So the full moon is here, and this is something releasing, ending, completing. Some of you are ending a relationship or completing it. Some of you are saying that was a karmic relationship. That soul contract has been completed. That's some of you. Others of you may have a manifestation of a relationship, not necessarily karmic, but of some sort of partnership. It could be bringing that into your life or deepening one. 2 weeks later, we're going to have a new moon in Libra, your sign. And a new moon here is now, what do you want your identity to be? What roles do you want to play? Do you want to keep some? Do you want to leave some? What are you stepping into? Is it a new identity at work? Is it a new identity in your personal life? The new moon in Libra wants you to support you to look at your vitality. Do you feel vital? Do you feel healthy? Do you feel fully alive? That's part of the process going on for you with this new moon. And then anything that you might want to change up in your appearance. It is a good time for a glow up. beautiful Libra. The focus of this month is going to shift when the sun goes into Scorpio and joins Mercury and Mars in this deep transformational water sign. The sun will enter Scorpio on the 23rd. Mercury and Mars will have already been there. And this is happening in your second house of earned income, values, material possessions, self-worth, deserving, whatever makes you feel rooted and secure in this earthly life. So by this point, having had the entire season of you, Libra, in your first house, which was about you coming out into the world, and this is who I am, and this is what I want to do, and these are the people I want to interact with, and this is what's important to me, then the focus shifts from that to you, and maybe there was focus during Libra season on your partnerships, for sure. You are a partnership sign. Not that your whole life is about partnerships. I don't want to say that. But that sense of fairness, balance, and harmony, very, very important to you. And I know a lot of you are artists. A lot of you create beauty. There are many facets of you to your diamond self, beautiful Libra. But when the sun and Mercury and Mars are all having a party in your second house, this is where you could feel your focus shift to your sense of, do I have what I need? Am I making the money that I want to make? Do I want to start a new business? Do I want to make money in a different way, a side gig? Do I feel good in my material possessions? Do I want to buy something? Do I want to sell something? It's a good time to do some inner reflection on your self-worth. Are there any limiting beliefs, ways of thinking, inner narratives that don't support me in my material security? Some of you feel like, I could be making more money. I just have to, deal with a limiting belief such as making money is hard. That's just one example. But it's a time to really claim your power in terms of self-love and talking to others, Mercury, taking action, Mars, and letting that amplify your life force, the sun, around feeling I've got my needs met. The amount of money I make, it makes me feel good. You get the idea. Okay, so Scorpio, let us pull a card now and see what the cards have to say for you. Scorpio. Your card is Howl at the Moon. This card is saying, let it all out. Process your feelings. Scorpio, if you didn't watch part 1 of this video, I highly encourage you to, because I do take quite a bit of time to take you guys on a deep dive into each of the transits of the month. And there are a lot of transformational planetary conversations going on this month that involve Pluto. And that's going to involve you guys because Pluto energy makes a square to your energy. And it's important. And I love this card because to me, the red really represents, the red is root chakra. That's the second house of material security. It represents the beauty, the bounty. We've got a number of Jupiter transits this month too that really harmonize beautifully with your energy. Jupiter in Cancer, very supportive of you this month. But we have to get out what we are holding in. And you guys are all different, of course, like all humans are different, but I do know that there are Scorpios that will suppress the emotions because they are so intense. And I really want to encourage you to do what this card is saying, and that says process your feelings, lean into the feelings, be the spiritual warrior, go toward them, let them release so you can be free, because that is how you can receive and create emotional freedom for yourself, so you create space for what your heart is so truly passionate about. Beautiful Scorpio. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments below, I would very much love to hear. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo. First of all, I want to say, yay, we're out of eclipse season. A lot of you felt that intensely. It was happening on your 1st and your 7th house axis, so your relationships and your own identity. And I hope that you received some relief, some clarity on moving forward. And, you may find October to be part of that process. Those eclipses were really intense for me as well. And now I'm taking what I learned during that time. I am now taking steps and making plans to, work with that energy. And the energy is much freed up and it feels very good. And Venus in Virgo is supporting you for the first part of the month before she enters Libra. She's really supporting you to make those plans and take care of you. Venus, take care of your beauty, your health, your finances, all the things that, create a flow in your life. So you could be making plans right now based on any eclipse awareness or situation that came to light for you. October is going to highlight your finances, your self-worth, your shared resources, intimacy, and it's the eighth house of power and control, feeling like you are in control of your life and you are, my message for you, my one headline for you is reclaim your power. Reclaim your power. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. If you're dealing with people, a lot of times when we're working with people that we don't really know very well, or we're just doing our research, or we're making calls, or, talking to advisors, or it's an area that's new to us, we can be a little bit shy, or we can, not ask the hard questions of other people. But this month really wants you to do that, to be brave, to be bold. Virgo, you will do it in a way that is respectful and honoring of others. So the month begins with Venus in your sign, which is supporting you in everything that I just shared after all you're ruled by Mercury. So I was talking about mercurial things just then, having the conversations, doing the research, getting the information that you need. And then the sun in Libra, which of course begins the month. The sun is in Libra. The sun will be in your second house of earned income, values, material possessions, security, self-worth, and self-esteem, and feeling that you deserve what you most desire. So that's also a big theme for you this month. We're going to have an Aries full moon. All full moons are endings, completions, graduation moments, manifestations, heightened emotional energy, often involving another person. And this full moon is happening for you in your eighth house of power and control. This is the theme that I mentioned at the beginning of this reading, which is probably going to be woven into a lot of your month. The eighth house is where we share resources with other people. It's a financial, money house and a partnership house. We can partner with a lot of different kinds of people, not just a romantic partner. We can partner with advisors. We can partner with, so like financial advice, for example. You could be reaching out and trying to educate yourself more, or to, hiring someone perhaps to help you with funds or investments or a real estate matter, any of those things. But remember, a full moon in Aries wants you to be bold. It wants you to be courageous. It wants you to take back your power and assert yourself where needed. And it's Aries, so we are going into new territory with Aries. We are taking some sort of a step that could feel scary. In some cases, we are being the fool. We're feeling the fear and doing it anyway. The new moon in Libra is a new beginning. It's planting seeds. What all new moons are. It's the beginning of a brand new manifestational cycle. And that's happening in your second house of earned income, values, material possessions, and security. So you can see that a lot of this month before Scorpio season begins, a lot of this month is happening. The themes of the second and eighth house axis are very relevant for you. Finances, how we earn our money, how we save our money for future retirement and so on. And also, emotional, sexual intimacy, and working with other people to achieve our goals in these areas. And that brings in self-love. It brings in self-worth. It touches on, do we deserve? Do we just feel like we deserve? It brings in a lot of emotions, because the eighth house is the house of where we often we want control. We really want control in the eighth house, but we don't have it. We have a certain amount of control, but we're dealing with others. So certain things we can't control, other people's behavior. It's the house of where we can experience power struggles. So it's just a dynamic to be aware of. You know, you could have wonderful things happen. You could have a house sell if you want a house sell. You could buy a new home. You could start a new get a new income stream going. You could purchase a possession, or, you know, maybe you want to have a new possession and you're building toward it. Your intentions around the new moon are about feeling like all of your material needs are met. I can take care of myself on this earthly plane. Now, the focus is going to shift when we get to Scorpio season, and that is the 23rd of this month. And Scorpio energy harmonizes with your energy, Virgo, really beautifully. It's a sextile. You're the dynamic between you and Scorpio. And that means there are solutions, there are opportunities, there are ways to make tangible things that you want in your life real. Scorpio season happens in your third house. We don't just have the sun here this month. We have the moon, we have the sun, not the moon. We have the sun, Mars, and Mercury, all in Scorpio. A party in Scorpio in Scorpio energy in your third house of moving and shaking, freelance work, mindset and communication, your local neighborhood, your interactions with neighbors and siblings and aunts, uncles, cousins, extended family. It's the house of what's happening in my local area. All the things that you do, all the errands, any meetup groups, the coffee dates, the, conversations too. It's conversations, it's phone conversations, emails, all the communication. And if you're working on a website, you're learning something, you're writing things, short trips. And it also brings in this house, your devices and vehicles. So there's a lot that's happening in this area of your life, Virgo. You could get invited to more parties. You could get invited. Do people have parties anymore? I don't know. Where I am right now, near my kids and grandchildren, I don't know a lot of people. So I haven't, my age, so I haven't. But I've gone to some parties now that I think about it. Yes, I've gone to a few parties since I've been here. Not everybody loves a party. I get that. But you get hopefully what I'm saying, which is more social contact. It's a very busy house. You could have a very busy month, at least when we get into the latter part of the month, the latter third of the month. Watch the first part of this video where I talk about the transits that are happening, because as we get towards the end of the month, there are some wonderful transits, but earlier in the month, there are transits that are calling on us to do some, facing our fears and releasing them as well. So it's good to know what those dates are, so we know that when things are happening, we know why and how to work with it. At least that is my goal for you, Virgo. So the sextile can bring opportunities, very supportive energy, and you could find that this is a much more active time for you than it has been, especially with for a lot of people, a difficult eclipse season. Virgo, I just shuffled for you, and let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. For you, beautiful Virgo, you've been through the hardest part. The hardest part is done. And your card is the moon's reflection, accept responsibility. So a couple of things I like about this card. One is it reminds me of Gemini energy because of the reflecting the two gorgeous women on this card. They're looking at each other, they're talking, they are giving each other feedback, they're mirroring back to each other, but they could be having a conversation in which they also have to accept responsibility. There could be, for some of you, a moment of, apologizing to someone. If not that, you forgiving someone, showing compassion. This could be within yourself. It's not necessarily, maybe you're giving yourself compassion. Maybe you're taking responsibility for not having the wherewithal to care for your inner child at an earlier time. You could be doing some reflection, but You know, a lot of times when we see the words accept responsibility, I know I can feel like this sometimes. I feel like, what, you're calling me out and saying I did something wrong and I need to accept responsibility. And I don't think that's what this card is doing. This card is saying, what is the response? Another way of seeing responsibility is our ability to respond. It may be that you are the one that has to take responsibility for advocating for yourself. If you have a need. The eclipses, especially the second eclipse in your sign, Virgo at 29 degrees, it moved a lot of us into new territory. Or, you know, there was an ending involved, there was a completion, but also new territory. And I think you might find yourself in a situation where something is new to you. You need information, you need to do research, something, or you need to have conversations that could be just a little bit uncomfortable because it's new. And there could be fears that are coming up around that. And so this may be saying take responsibility for doing those steps that are important to do so that you can take care of you. That could be part of it as well. You will know what this means based on your own intuitive promptings that are coming as I'm speaking this word. So if there's anything that you want to share in the comments below, beautiful Virgo, I would love to hear. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, the focus for this month of October for you has to do with expansion. Expansion is your key word for this month. The planets are supporting you to expand, to get out and about, to take long weekends, or to plan some long distance travel, or maybe you're already doing that. Maybe you're already taking a trip. This is a month that you are meant to grow, to learn, to expand, to socialize, to experience some new scenery. And that could be metaphorically or actual new scenery physically. This could even feel like a month of spiritual seeking. You could feel like you are building a platform, you're sharing your enthusiasm, you're teaching, you're preaching, you're podcasting, you're publishing something. You could feel very excited to, you know, it could feel like a very spiritual energy that's rising up from your heart and wants to come out, and, you know, that real desire to influence, to empower, to inspire others. So, or you could be really excited to learn something, to take a course, to write something, meet new people. Adventure and freedom, other keywords. The month begins with Libra season, the sun in Libra, which is air to your fire. It's very, very supportive. It's energizing to you. It's happening in your third house, and that's the house of moving and shaking. The third house is our local area, our neighborhood, neighbors, landlords, aunts, uncles, cousins, the people that we talk to on, you know, just when we're standing in a checkout line at a grocery store, the people that we maybe have a conversation with at the gym. It can be the most offhanded kinds of conversations, or even overhearing something that can end up being a synchronicity or a sign to you. So it's a great time to be really open to what's going on in your environment. You know, the God, Spirit, the Creator is always speaking through others to us, right? Also, there could be a theme of a relationship, a sibling, aunt, uncle, cousin, communication and mindset, rewriting your inner narrative, telling yourself a new story about your life. Learning, writing, speaking, I think I already mentioned that, but also your devices or your vehicles. You know, the sun is our life force. It's illuminating these areas of your life. You could feel very busy. The first part of this month could feel very busy, the first 3 weeks of this month. The Aries full moon, which happens before the new moon this time around, the Aries full moon is happening in your 9th house of expansion. And a full moon in Aries especially is like, what's next? What am I doing that's exciting me? What's my passion? Aries energy needs to feel passionate. That means in your 9th house of new scenery and long distance travel, the things I mentioned earlier, publishing, podcasting, making YouTube videos, learning astrology, teaching something. where you are sometimes, this is not everyone, of course, not everyone is doing this, but some of you may feel like even if you're not teaching something, you're talking to other people about it more. It's more infused into your life. Maybe you're watching videos on it. Maybe you're, writing a paper on something that excites you. Maybe you're in school. This is the ninth house is higher learning as well. On a quest, you could feel like you're on a quest. You could be teetering back and forth of, do I want to stay in this learning program that I'm in? Because it's a full moon, and full moons are culminations and sometimes endings and sometimes a realization this isn't what I want to be doing anymore. Leo, your energy and Aries energy, they vibe really beautifully together. So it's a very supportive full moon. And you could have a manifestation. Somebody could offer you a plane ticket to fly somewhere. That would be cool. If it's someplace you want to go, if it's exciting to you, or you could win, free accommodations. A lot of different things could play out for you here, but big picture, there is a completion for you or a culmination. And then we move on 2 weeks later to the new moon in Libra, which is in your opposite house where the sun is, which I just described when I talked about the sun in your 3rd house. The new moon's in your 3rd house too. So some of you are planning to do a website, you're planning to start a business and do the things that are needed for that business, such as, setting something up, technology maybe that you need. Maybe you're setting up a blog or you're creating, whatever you want to put out, whatever, maybe you're giving away an ebook, you're writing an ebook, or you're writing something or putting something together that you can have as an offering. Like I offer a free guided meditation as part of my offerings to people watching my videos. You get the idea. You're also planting seeds, some of you, for a relationship that falls into this house, which would be healing or prioritizing a relationship with an extended family member or a sibling. And communication and mindset are very up for you. This is a great time to take any kind of a short trip, a day trip, a long weekend, to make sure that your devices and your vehicles are in good shape. This is a time that you could find yourself servicing your car. I mean, some of this is very mundane, I know. It's not fancy or sexy, I know. But we'll get to the sexy part in a moment when we talk about Scorpio energy. So if you want to, change the way you think about something, if you want to release a limiting belief, this Libra season is very, very good for you for that. Same with the new moon, full moon too. So now we move on to Scorpio season, which is when the energy shifts, Leo. The energy shifts. Scorpio energy is very different, whereas the air of Libra and the fire of Aries really harmonizes with you. The water of Scorpio, it makes what we call a square to your energy. And squares, there's some tension there. It doesn't mean that you don't love Scorpio energy. Some of you might, but can be some tension there. There can be some pressure. There can be, it's what gets us going to take action. It's what gets us into action, moving and taking steps. And so in that way, it's very good, because if we didn't have, as humans, if we didn't have a little bit of that, I don't want to say poked. If we didn't get poked, no one wants to get poked. But if we didn't have, the fire burning underneath us, in this case, it's Scorpio. Scorpio is very passionate, just like you, Leo. You're both very passionate, but you're both fixed. And that's why you square, because fixed signs have a fixed idea of how things should be. Once you make up your mind, it's hard for you to change your mind. Same with Scorpio. So it's like 2 different mindsets in their fixed, this is the way it is. You could experience that or have experienced that with somebody who has strong Scorpio in their chart. But for the Scorpio season for you and all in your chart, based on your rising sign, you have Scorpio in the 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, ancestral healing, inner child, connecting with your inner child, feeling rooted, feeling like you have a sense of belonging, creating a sanctuary. That's all Scorpio for you. What does that mean? It means that this is probably a place in your life, an area of your life, these topics, where you've done some transformation, or you will be called to do some transformation, some quote unquote shadow work, to release fears. To Scorpio energy can feel complicated. It can feel like murky waters. It can feel it's the unconscious and fears coming up from our unconscious. It could be very intense. So we're going to have Mercury, Mars, and the Sun here in Scorpio, and with 3 planets here, that's a lot of activity in your house, your place of home and family. So, for example, you might have something come up that you need to resolve in your 4th house, whether it's Scorpio is connected to plumbing too, so it could be like a plumbing issue. It could be somebody in your home or family of origin, the family you've created, people, neighbors around you. There could be something that you have to address. Or you could be working on, soothing your own inner child or moving through a fear. We're going to have 2 more squares to Pluto during this month. We already had one at the end of September, Mars squaring Pluto. Now we're going to, this month in October, Mercury and the Sun will square Pluto. Pluto is opposite you, and it's already been here before with Mars squaring it, so you may feel like you've already done that deep diving, transformational shadow work, healing fears, facing fears. Really, I believe with Pluto energy, we are just meant to be very aware of our fears, to be honest with ourselves, to not deny ourselves what we need, to respect our truth, to respect our needs, and to have the courage to ask for what we need, to go after and to support our own self in that, and to set the appropriate boundaries. On that note, beautiful Leo, let us see what the cards have to say for you. Leo, and you guys are so fiery. You're so strong. I love that the card of the tarot for you is the Strength card. You guys have it all going on. You are not wallflowers. You will go after what you need. There's a lot of fierceness in your energy. So any challenge that comes up for you, you have everything you need to face it, beautiful Leo. And I do have separate videos for all of the signs on your superpower. If you want to watch that video for Sun, Moon, or Rising, you might really enjoy that as well. Leo, your card for the month of October is, oh my gosh, you're going to laugh. Well, it's not laughter. It's amazing. Strength. Oh, I love these synchronicities. The yang, moon, yang, yang, tomato, tomato, moon, strength. There you are. What a synchronicity. I love it when these things happen. Here's your card, Leo. Here's the sun. You are ruled by the sun. You are connected to the heart. You are full of heart. You take actions based on your heart. You have the strength to rise to any occasion. And as long as you stay true to your own heart and you don't negotiate away, you don't push down the whispers of your soul, you are going to really love this month, I think. If you want to claim your strength or anything else you want to share in the comments below, I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and rising in Cancer. And this month, the theme for Cancer people is balancing home and family or personal matters, the very, very most personal matters that can bring up inner child stuff or bring up insecurities, your emotional needs, basically. Cancer, you are balancing that and your sanctuary, your home, family of origin, family that you've created, those relationships, those dynamics. You're balancing that with career, how you spend your time if you don't have a career, life purpose expressed, what brings you fulfillment, your passion, etc. You could find yourself recalibrating these 2 areas, your 4th and 10th houses. You are called this month to prioritize what matters most, and most likely they both matter to you. And so you're figuring out how can you balance both. But I think that the month of September, if not earlier, may have made you realize that you can no longer put your own needs or a specific need on the back burner and that you need to prioritize it. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that's true for you. The month begins with Libra season, the sun in Libra, that's happening in your 4th house of family. That's happening in your fourth house of family, childhood conditioning. Um, this is ancestral healing, which very much comes up for Cancer people because a lot of Cancer people agreed on a soul level to do some of that for the family line, especially the mother line. Cancer, your energy is connected to the mother. I know a lot of you already know that. You are ruled by the moon. You feel the moon transits very intensely. We'll get to that in a moment when I talk about the moons. But the moon is connected to the mother, which is why I mention it. And the fourth house of roots and belonging and feeling like you are in charge of, you're able to create emotional safety and security and a beautiful, whatever beautiful is for you, home environment. So the first lunation that we have is the Aries full moon, and that is happening in your 10th house of career, life purpose expressed, retirement or semi-retirement, where you might want recognition, where you have been doing some hard work. Maybe you've been building a structure, platform, something for some time now that you want to bring you the rewards of your hard work. Or you could be asking, what is my passion? What is my purpose? How do I align what my heart wants with my true earthly reality? Maybe the work that you do isn't aligned with that, and you're ready to come out more as that spiritual self, that essence of you, the new soul essence of you that's coming online, so to speak. Maybe there's a call. We often feel a calling in the 10th house. Maybe there's a call that you're feeling to do that. And if you are feeling that, I just want to encourage you for support to check out my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. So if you could use that support, I want to offer that to you. Now, with the sun in Libra in your fourth house of home and family, you may find that you are really seeking, or have been. I know a lot of Cancers for some time have been seeking roots. They've been seeking, where is the right place for me to be? My right home, where do I want to live? Do I want to change my home? Do I want to remodel? Do I want to build something new? Where on the planet am I meant to be? That could be coming up for you. And this is the time to be planting the seeds of intention for that. And I'll get to that in a moment with the new moon. But before the new moon happens in Libra, we have the full moon in Aries. And full moons are about releasing, letting go, completions, endings. They're the end of a manifestational cycle. So during this end of a cycle, there's something ending or completing, or it's a way you've been doing that's ending, a way you've been operating that's meant to end. And that's in your 10th house of career, profession, retirement, semi-retirement, life purpose expressed, etc., legacy. For some Cancers, a way that they've been working hasn't been healthy, hasn't been fulfilling, hasn't been, good for your body even, because Aries, where the full moon is, it's ruled by Mars, and Mars is connected to the physical body. There could also be something going on in your physical body that you're healing. A treatment, a surgery, procedure, whatever. Some of you could be going through something like that as well, or planning to go through something like that, or getting information, research, solidifying a plan for that. And if it's not that, it could be, is everything the way it's happening in your career flowing the way you want it, or do you need to make some changes? Same with home and family, because these all affect, when you have planets on this axis, new moon, full moon on the same axis, well, all new moons and full moons are on an axis. But when this is happening, it could happen in either house, home and family, or career, or legacy, or retirement for all of you, depending on your situation. And then the new moon in Libra, as I said, it brings up all these fourth house themes. And, big picture, this is a new vision, intention, plan, fresh start, beginning for you feeling more rooted, Cancer, more emotionally secure. If you watch part 1 of this video, there are many transits to Jupiter in Cancer, where we want to receive blessings and wonderful things that help us solidify our sense of security. So if you haven't watched that, this is a month where you could really feel that Jupiter in Cancer. It's being squared multiple times. It's being trined. It's really being activated by both Libra and Scorpio seasons. So definitely I would encourage you to watch that. I always encourage everyone to watch that because I do spend a lot of time going through each of the daily transits and give you tips for how you can work with these individual planetary conversations going on. So I hope it's empowering for you. Okay, so I also want to say that the Aries Libra energy, it challenges you. It's a square energy for you. So you may find that you're really taking action, you're really having to step up. Maybe you're having to claim your power. Maybe you're having to have some of those talk about things, ask questions, especially people in authority. Sometimes that's challenging for Cancer people. If you haven't delved into an area, subject matter area, for example, subject matter area, I think that's redundant. You haven't dealt with a specific area of knowledge, for example, and you have questions of the people who are experts, who have the knowledge, but somehow you're afraid your needs might not get met. Pay attention to that, because we are really encouraged to move through any fears around that and take the reins of our life. The Chariot card, that's your card in the tarot, and make sure that your needs are met. So even if it's tense, still go for it. Still, do the work of facing your fears, releasing them, and asking the questions, and remembering that people who support you, people who want what you want, people who are aligned with you, will be supportive. And if not, there will be other people who are. Okay, so the focus will shift when we get to Scorpio season. That's the 23rd of the month. The sun will be in Scorpio, and Scorpio energy beautifully harmonizes with your Cancer energy. It's the Scorpio's water to your water. There's a beautiful flow, and you have Scorpio energy in your 5th house of children, true love and romance, creative projects. Just being your beautiful, playful, childlike self. So I love this for all Cancer people. Not only will the sun be here in your 5th house, Mercury will be here, Mars will be here. This is a great time to really feed your passions, to feed your creativity, to feed love and romance, if that's something that you want, whether you already have that relationship and you're just, giving it more care and feeding, as we say, more nourishment, more watering, or you are, deciding to put yourself in situations where you can meet people. Could include online dating, but Venus in Virgo as well. Venus will be in Virgo for the first part of this month. That's also very supportive to your energy. And then Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, they're all very harmonious with you. And even, the part of the month that Venus is in Libra, that's just a little bit more of a challenge for you, but that could be the thing, that energy, that tension could be the thing that gets you to do something that you don't normally do. And like, I went to a gym for the very first time that I joined, where it's my daughter's gym, but she's busy with her 3 kids, so rarely can we go together. And it's a huge gym. I have never seen a gym this big before. There are like 4 separate weight rooms. And it was slightly intimidating to me at first, but I went there, I got a tour, and now I'm like, I can't wait to go back to the gym. So sometimes we Cancer people, right? We just have to find the right space where we are, that we can feel comfortable, and then then we can receive the blessings from it. So beautiful Cancer. Let me shuffle for you now. And let us see what the cards have to say for you. Leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. Let me know what's going on in your world. If you want to share, how is what I'm sharing with you vibing with you? And thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking this video. Your support means the world to me. Cancer. Your card is Moon Memories, the past. Okay, check it out. So Cancers are very nostalgic, right? Cancer, we know this. We easily go back to the past, especially the memories of being on a tropical beach or taking a wonderful vacation, or anything that feels, sweet to you. And this card is saying that your past may come up this month. And if it does, especially when it's a good memory, I am a believer in using that. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between past, present, or future. The subconscious mind, of course, is what creates most of our current experiences, even as conscious as we are. What is it, like 80 to 90% of our experiences are created from our subconscious mind. Our heart is very powerful. Our heart can create our experiences too, but the subconscious is what gets in there when we're not aware, right? And so this is saying, if there are past memories that aren't beautiful, move through those emotionally, let them go. And if there are wonderful memories that come to your awareness, bask in them for a little bit. Take yourself there, feel them. Maybe you use a memory to activate that energy so that you can create another experience that has the feeling quality of something perhaps you experienced in the past that you want to experience again. Beautiful Cancer, if anything I shared resonates and you want to leave me a comment, I would love to hear. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, I have my natal sun in Gemini, and I hope that you feel a weight lifted this month of October, because September's eclipse season was a doozy, and this month should bring lighter energy for you emotionally, as long as you don't overthink. Virgo and Pisces, they square your energy. They actually make a T-square to your energy, and that is not easy, especially if you have planets or points in Virgo and Pisces that were activated by those eclipses that T-squared your Gemini energy. That is not easy. So for this month, my encouragement to you is to let yourself be guided and let yourself be ignited, guided and ignited by enthusiasm. The month begins with the sun still in Libra. This is air to your air. This is very supportive, and the sun will be in your 5th house of children, true love and romance, creative projects. This is where you can take yourself on a date, or you can go on a date with somebody and really experience the fun and just enjoy, let yourself have fun. It's a trine. What is a trine? A trine is ease and flow and the wind at your back. So whether you have a partner, a romantic partner, or you're dating now, or you want that, it's also a great month to, if you don't have it already, to do some manifesting around that, some manifesting practice, whether it's a vision board or scripting or, acting as though it's already here, having a conversation that assumes that it's already here, things like that. The full moon in Aries is our first lunation, and that's happening in your 11th house of fulfillment. It is Aries energy, fire to your air. Aries energy really harmonizes beautifully with you, Gemini. It sparks you, it gets you, it motivates you, it brings your courage, front and center. It allows you to have the energy and the motivation and the inspiration to follow through on something that your heart really wants. So you could get very inspired this month. Now, it is a full moon, which is an ending, a completion, a culmination, but it can also be a manifestation. And it's not just what is your current dream, what would fulfill you. It's also friendships, any online presence that you might have, any message that you could be sharing with the world. It's branding and promoting. Your supporters, your allies, feeling supported, and also money, long-term financial gains fall here. You get a sextile. Sextile is an opportunity. A sextile is, for example, if you have your own business and somebody wants to interview you, or if you want to start a podcast, or you are beginning to brand a new product that you're creating or service, these kinds of things. But also meeting up with people, like going to a meetup group, going to some sort of a class or retreat or something that brings you into, lets you be with other people like-minded. It's the house that we call tribe, house that we have community. So doing something in community would be very supportive to you. I think it's important this month that Geminis feel supported. So even if you don't have a community like that, reaching out to one other person, getting support is very, very important, especially obviously if you feel the need for that. Then we have a new moon in Libra. The new moon in Libra is happening in your 5th house where the sun is. The sun and moon will be here together, helping you to create a new manifestational cycle in these areas of children, whether you have your own children, whether you want a child, or children are just in your life, or, you know, it can be other people's children, but it can be your own inner child. It's the house of inner child delight and creative projects and expressing your creativity and allowing yourself to just, you know, very few of us, some of you do, I'm sure, give ourselves the time just to create something beautiful just for fun. I know a lot of you do that. Gemini, you channel energy through your hands. If you didn't know that already, I do have a separate video for you on your superpower if you want to check that out. But the 5th house is where we're called to, the quote I shared at the beginning of this video, fun is an essential nutrient, to be playful, to give our inner child the things that we need to be happy. There's a lightness to the 5th house, and this lightness wants to come into your life more. And I don't think I mentioned love, romance, and dating. Really, really good for this. Really, really good planting seeds for any kind of romance that you'd like to have in your life, or true love, if you don't already have that. You want to deepen it. The focus will shift this month when Scorpio season happens on the 23rd, when the sun joins Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, and we have 3 planets in Scorpio. Yes, I'm saying for the sake of this video, the sun is a luminary, it's not a planet, but we will have the sun, Mercury, and Mars all in your 6th house of daily work, health, and habits, routines, schedules, your everyday life, how you do your everyday life. So, you know, there's a lot of moving and shaking happening here in your 6th house, which for you will probably bring up one of these areas. It will bring up, for example, I'm going to go to the gym. You know, maybe you're going to go to the gym more. You're going to go to the yoga studio. You're going to do something, you know, you're going to buy some free weights. You're going, you know, you got the idea. Like you're going to change the way you eat. You're going to start looking for recipes, you know, where you can make healthy dishes, or do more cooking on your own if you were relying on pre-made foods, things like that. Your work could be very front and center for you in Scorpio season. So your relationships with coworkers, bosses, or just how you do your work. Is it sustainable? Is it feeding you? Is it nourishing for you? Scorpio season has us delving into the darker side of life. It can be where we feel like there's been deception on the part of someone else, where we, like a work environment where there's favoritism, for example, or where we just know we can't stay in that particular environment or in that job anymore. Some of you may want to, you know, you're thinking about, you're talking about Mercury, you're taking action, Mars, to create a daily rhythm in your life, work, health, or habits that is more aligned with who you are now. Adjustments may be needed. So my encouragement to you is to be flexible, call in spirit, ask for support if you need it. And this could be a very productive time for you. 6th house is very productive. You could really be working on something to do with your health during this time as well. Okay, gems. Let us see. It just kind of got dark just now. The clouds moved in. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. And I was talking about Scorpio, which can bring up darkness. It can bring up fears. But Gemini, you are the alchemist. You are the magician. You can move through those fears by leaning into them, feeling them through your body, doing some somatic work, EFT tapping, other modalities, so that you can release, purge, whatever your word is for processing fears. Get it out of your energy field so you can make more room for what your heart truly desires. Gemini. Gemini family. Your card is, there's darkness in this card. This very much looks like Scorpio. It says, the moon in detriment, cut your losses. Is there something that that comes up for you? You could be holding it against yourself. You could be seeing a downturn, for example, in your finances. Maybe you have investments that who knows what's going to happen with the stock market. It's at an all-time high and we don't know. There's the bull here. This is Taurus energy. This has to do with material things, I believe, money or something else. If you find yourself in a situation where there's nothing you can do about it, you've done your best, you don't have control, this card is saying cut your losses. Don't hold something against yourself. Don't be mean to yourself because of something, the coulda, woulda, shoulda. We're all doing the best we can with the resources we have and the knowledge we have in any given moment. This won't apply to all of you, but if you relate to it, beautiful Gemini, or anything that I shared in this reading, you're meant to have lightness this month with the new moon in your 5th house. That's fun, that's freedom, that's adventure, that's love, that's creativity. You're meant to have lightness. If you want to claim your lightness and claim your joy, the 5th house of joy, very much on offer for you in Libra, the sign that trines you, Gemini. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Taurus, hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, this month of October for you is going to begin with a focus on finding balance. Balance in your daily life, your routines, your schedules, your work environment, the work that you do, your health and your habits. Basically, the rhythm of your life and how you manage your energy and what makes you feel good and what drains your energy. That's part of the balance. And then the other part is your spirituality, your 12th house of your inner realms, your inner life, your dream life. You know, when you sleep, the dreams that you have, the deep dives that you might do in guided visualization, or when you pray, you know, all the routines that you do that nourish your spiritual self, your physical self and your spiritual self. These are calling out to you for balance this month. And the season of Libra is still going on for the first 3 weeks of this month, all the way until the 23rd when the sun moves into Scorpio. But from the 1st through the 22nd, the sun will be in Libra. And this is happening. The sun is transiting your 6th house. So with the sun transiting our 6th house, that's our life force. And the 6th house is our physical energy, our energy levels. So you could notice that something is, you know, you could be celebrating something in this area. You could be celebrating a new job. You could be celebrating and really enjoying your coworkers. You could be really enjoying your work right now. Or you could say, I don't enjoy it anymore and I need to change this in some way. Or I want to change my physical exercise routine, or I want to start an exercise routine, or this habit isn't good for me anymore. I need to change this about how I eat. Any of these things could be very up for you this month. Then we're going to have a full moon in Aries in your 12th house, and that's your inner life, your spiritual life, the house of rest and retreat, your mystical self, the care and feeding of your spirit, the care and feeding of that we co-create with spirit from the inside out, right? So we begin with the 12th house. We begin envisioning, sensing, and feeling oftentimes what we desire. And we're really weeding our garden in the 12th house because the 12th house is connected to past lifetimes. It's connected to fears. It's connected to memories of things that were quite difficult for us, losses, and so on. So the 12th house, but the 12th house is also your ability to channel, your psychic ability, a spiritually based business. Like that could be a big part of what you're navigating right now too, because spiritually based businesses, the themes of that fall in the 12th house, and yet they work with your 6th house energy to actually create a daily work around that. So that's possibly part of what you're navigating right now with a full moon in Aries, where you are meant to be bold and courageous and take, rise to the occasion and step out and do something maybe that you think is hard for you to do. Taurus, a full moon in Aries is very illuminating for you. Full moons illuminate. They bring endings, completions, culminations, and manifestations. But often they show us something we didn't see before. So you could see a truth. You could see a subconscious pattern. You could see a limiting belief. You could see something that you are ready to and feeling very empowered to release during that full moon. The new moon in Libra 2 weeks later will be in your 6th house. So you can see the 6th and 12th houses are very, very active during this month. And the new moon says, do you want to create all the things I already talked about with the sun in Libra? What do you want to create in your daily life, work, habits, health, and so on, how you manage your energy? Then when the sun enters into Scorpio, the focus shifts. This focus will shift. Now Scorpio energy, it's fixed energy, like your fixed energy, and it's your opposite sign. And so oppositions sometimes create tension. But what does it oppose? What is Scorpio energy for you? It's your partnerships. It's people that are important to you. So it can be, any of these transits can be very positive, or they can be filled with tension. It can be starting new partnerships, releasing partnerships, cutting ties, setting boundaries, working on our communication. You've got Mercury, you've got Mars, you've got the sun, all in Scorpio. Once the sun enters, they will all be there. Mars is already there at the beginning of the month. Mercury will enter during the month. I share the dates for everything in part 1 of this video. But this, the thing about oppositions is they're motivating, right? If something is happening with another person, and I see partnerships as romantic, I see partnerships as business relationships, and also any relationship that feels important to you at this time in your life, anything that feels anchoring to you in some way. Be a relationship with an adult child, very, very close friend, the people that we text and call when important things happen in our life, right? Those can fall in the 7th house as well. So it can be a wonderful time to collaborate or partner with somebody, especially if you're both passionate about what you're doing and you are on the same page, you have the same values, you are aligned, your souls are on the same trajectory. This could be really a beautiful time for you to really be taking action and having a lot of communication around an important partnership or relationship in your life. Taurus. So, and it could be quite illuminating, awakening with that full moon in your 12th house too. That's where we can have a spiritual awakening. So Taurus, and I also want to say that Jupiter in Cancer, makes really beautiful sextile energy to your energy, opportunities, solutions. It's flowing, it's compassionate, it's wonderful. And, we've got some transits with Neptune in Pisces, Neptune going back into Pisces, that harmonizes with you. Jupiter in Cancer harmonizes with you. So you could experience some wonderful blessings, good fortune this month as well. So let us see what the cards have to say for you, Taurus. As I'm finishing shuffling for you. Taurus. Your card is go for it. Reach for the moon. Yay. What is that saying? Reach for the moon. If nothing else, you will land among the stars. I think that's it. But here she is. She's giving it her all. She's doing the splits. She's got wonderful anchors here. This looks like floating. It almost looks like stand-up paddle boards or surfboards that are part of her legs. And there's this mountain that's like the mountain of a goal. Capricorn energy. And mostly she's working with the moon energy. She is working with the goddess of the moon. Reach for the moon. Taurus, you are very good at this. You are very good at manifesting. You are very good at setting your sights high. And this is saying set your sights high, dream big. You will reap the rewards if you want to claim you reaching for the moon, you realizing the outcome that you desire. Let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, This is an important month for you, especially as we have Libra season going on for the first 3 weeks of the month, and Libra is opposite you on the zodiac wheel. And I believe that this month you are balancing your needs, your roles that you play in life, personal and professional, your identity, how you see yourself. You could be going through a transformation of that. And also the other, whoever the other is, whether it's a romantic partnership, a business relationship, or another anchor in your life, somebody that you have a commitment to, somebody, whether spoken or unspoken, somebody or other people that play an active role in your life right now. You're balancing your needs with the needs of others. Partnership is a big theme for you this month, but also focusing on you. The message that I have for you, that's sort of your headline for this month, is how can you strike a lovely balance between you and other people and have the best of both worlds? How can you have the best of both worlds, Aries? The month begins with the sun in Libra in your 7th house of partnerships. And this can be challenging with the sun here, but often when the sun is shining in a house, it is beautiful. Now the sun's coming out more brightly as I'm saying that. I love that. It is a beautiful time of you shining your light bright in your partnerships. If there are relationships with, people with whom you need to cut ties, you will probably do it during this season, especially because the full moon in Aries in your sign, your full moon Aries, which is an ending, completion, graduation moments, wrapping something up or manifesting something. It can be any of those. It's happening in the house of you. So this full moon is very much focused on you, your needs, your identity, your choices, your new endeavors, the things that are important to you. And because it's a full moon in the house of you, and it's across from your partnership house, it could be where you are aligning or realigning yourself with somebody, or realizing that you don't align anymore and taking action in that regard, setting a boundary, cutting ties and so forth. The new moon in Libra happening 2 weeks later is also in your 7th house of partnership. So the new moon in Libra says, who do you want to partner with now? Who's aligned with you now? It's the seed planting. This is your focus for the new moon, a new manifestational cycle. Now the sun's coming out really brightly, which is very beautiful. It's a beautiful sign for your relationships. It's making the coloring of this video very wonky, but that aside, the focus will shift for you when we enter Scorpio season on the 23rd of October. Already by the 23rd of October, we have Mercury and Mars both in Scorpio. Then the sun joins them and it's in your 8th. They're all three a party in Scorpio in your 8th house of emotional attachments, power and control, death and rebirth, transformation, shared resources, time, money, and energy shared with others, emotional and sexual intimacy, debts, we're paying things off, we're selling things, we're buying real estate, we're focusing on our investments, all those things come into play with the sun, Mercury, and Mars here. So sun, Mercury, Mars, something that feels quite big to you could be happening in your life at this point. It could be something having to do with any of those themes that I just mentioned. The sun, Mercury, and Mars. Yeah, you could definitely be taking action around finances or taking action around a relationship. Having a lot of conversations, a lot of back and forth. I would not be surprised if some of you are in some sort of negotiations or something to do with your finances, buying and selling, or a relationship for sure. So you're probably feeling very motivated, very strong motivation. You could be deepening a relationship. You could be, having deep conversations. It's really important that you are fiercely honest with people, that you are having the important conversations, and that you are cutting ties to any unhealthy dynamics or patterns in close relationships, Aries. So let us see what the cards have to say for you. I think this is going to be a dynamic month for you. Also, you've got Jupiter in Cancer, which makes a square to your energy. And so when you've got Jupiter squaring your energy, it can be a lot of high emotions, amplified emotions. It doesn't necessarily mean difficult, doesn't necessarily mean, it's Jupiter, and Jupiter is meant to expand whatever it touches. So it can be really beautiful, but it could be very heightened emotions. You could be having a powerful attraction to another person. It could be keeping you up at night. It could be taking you in to do some deep diving emotional shadow work, as we say, in the 8th house realm, where we want to be in control, but we only have so much control, and we have to face that, especially with Mercury, Mars, and the Sun there. But it could be just super fun, celebrational, exciting, very exciting, lots of sparks, lots of passion. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, Aries. Aries. Changes. The Quicksilver Moon. Something could happen quickly for you this month. You can see that she is feeling in her beauty. She's feeling in her very sensual pose that she has here in the 2 swans, representing beauty and purity. And Quicksilver, to me, that means, very fast moving energies and changes. But the changes are, and there's a full moon in the background, your full moon, Aries. The changes are sending waves of golden, abundant, spark-filled energy out. Lots of gold in this card representing abundance. So beautiful, Aries. I love this for you. If you want to claim anything that I shared in this reading, positive change, a wonderful full moon for you, anything that you want to claim, that you want to share, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces. My headline for you in this reading is you are empowering yourself. This is going to be a very empowering month for you, and I think it will be easier than last month if you are one of the ones that felt the eclipses intensely. They were happening on your axis with Virgo, and so most of you, many of you, I'm sure did, especially because they spanned the degrees really with that first moon in Virgo we had. It wasn't an eclipse, but that was 0 degrees of Virgo, then 15 degrees of your sign with the lunar eclipse, and then the solar eclipse was 29 degrees. So most of you probably felt eclipse season quite intensely, and whatever happened, I hope that, sometimes we have to, it takes a little while for us to assimilate anything that happened, especially if something unexpected happened, and how are we going to approach it, attend to it going forward. But I hope that you're now in the place of clarity, release, how to move forward. You could be or could have already made a decision about a role or a relationship, or really in any area of your life. So Pisces, now the focus shifts to 2nd and 8th house matters for you. What does this mean? Money, financial security, long-term assets, shared resources, your earned income, your sense of self-worth and deserving, having all of your material needs met, but then also long-term financial goals. Power, control, transformation, emotional and sexual intimacy. This is an axis that is both financial and relationship focused. And this is where the new moon and the full moon fall for you, and much of Libra season, which continues until the 22nd of the month. So when the month begins, we're in Libra season, the sun is in your 8th house, and that is highlighting the sun, right? Your life force energy. It's highlighting these areas that we really can hold on to tightly, the things that are very, very important to us. Emotional attachments. We are often attached to our money going a certain way. It's why so many people, if they have money in the stock market, they can be so emotional investors, right? Because, we don't have control over it. We only have so much control. Let's say that. We only have so much control. Obviously, we can manage risk, but there's that. There's also what, actions that other people might take that affect you, whether it's a partner, a romantic partner, a business partner, clients that you have, ways that you make money that are more 8th house focused, debts and so on, working with institutions, where we put our money to invest it, things like that. Those are all other people are involved. We have very little control, as we know, over others, but we can control how we respond to others. So that could be a theme that comes up for you this month. So that's where the new moon is going to be. But first we have the full moon. I'll touch on the new moon in a second. The full moon is going to be in your second house, and that's the first lunation that we have. And the full moon, of course, as always, represents an ending, a completion, a graduation moment, or a manifestation. Full moons are more heightened emotionally. And so with the full moon in your, it's going to be on your second and eighth house axis, but the moon itself will be in your transiting your second house. It can bring up subconscious desires, fears, longings around your earned income, your values, your self-worth, material possessions. Do you feel materially secure in your life? Some of you could be making a change, Pisces, and you could be questioning, will my material needs be met if I change my job, if I retire, whatever it is. Like, you can see how that might be coming into play. Or you could be doing some inner child work on any limiting beliefs that could be still, there around money. A lot of us have done a lot of work around money. It doesn't mean that there couldn't still be something lingering. So many ways that we can think about money, like, when we go into those our beliefs about it, do we believe money's easy to get? Do we believe it's hard to get? Do we believe that we can get the money, earn the money we need quickly? Do we believe that we have to work hard for money, or vice versa? You can see that's just a few. We could probably come up with, 20, 30 beliefs around money. And the question is, are the ones that you have helping you to attract the money that you need in your life easily? The new moon in Libra is happening in your eighth house. We talked about that. I talked about that a minute ago. That's power and control, passion, a lot of passion in the eighth house as well. Shared resources. This is a new moon, says, let's focus here on what we want. Let's plant our seeds of intention here. So a lot of you, I'm guessing, are really focused on a partner, on sharing resources with a partner, maybe negotiating, talking about things with a partner, maybe attracting a business partner, or, working with a business partner. Or this could have to do with a relationship in which you share emotional or sexual intimacy, or you are working on real estate or investments. Some of you could be buying a house or selling a house. The energy shifts quite a bit in the last third of the month when we have the sun moving into Scorpio, which trines your energy. It's really beautiful flow between you and Scorpio, which is lovely. And especially lovely because we're going to have Mars here and Mercury here and the sun here all together in this month of October. Not the whole month, but all the dates are in the first part of this video. So, Pisces. What I love about this is you've got a lot of energy in your ninth house of expansion. Where do you want to expand? Do you want to take a course? Are you taking a course? Do you want to travel long distance? Do you want new scenery? Do you want adventures? Publishing, podcasting, broadcasting, teaching, sharing your views with others. All of these things fall in the ninth house. It's a very strong spiritual focus, your philosophies. And with Scorpio here, it's often where we cut ties to philosophies or religions or things that are no longer aligned with us. But Mars, Mercury, and, Mercury is our thinking. Mercury is the transactions we make, that when we buy a plane ticket, when we rent a Airbnb, that's Mercury. Mars is, we're all in, our inspiration, our drive. We're like getting the car warmed up so we can go do something that aligns with what we want. That's Mercury and Mars, actually. And then the sun is what is expanding your life force. This is the house of expansion. So I love this for you. I love that you're going to have a stellium, 3 or more planets, transiting your ninth house of expansion. So cool, so supportive. Beautiful. Okay, so Pisces. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. And also just know that Neptune will retrograde back into your sign. I talk about what this means in the first part of this video, but when it does, it will make a sign by sign alignment from Jupiter, which is trining your energy. Jupiter in Cancer trines you and supports you, the greater benefic Jupiter, and then it will align with Saturn and Neptune. So it'll be further from Neptune, but it's going to get closer and closer to Saturn, especially towards the end of this month. So that's really supportive too for anything that you are solidifying, that you're building, that you're putting structure around, or releasing and letting go of. Saturn in Pisces, right? What's old, what's ended, what's ready to be released. Making room for the new. Pisces, let's see what your card is. Cleansing, moonrise. Cleansing is a Virgo word, but of course you and Virgo share a lot of similarities, being across from each other on the zodiac wheel. And what I love about this card is this rainbow energy coming straight up into the moon. And this is also reminding me something I shared in this video, that we're going to have a grand trine in air between Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, and Venus in Libra. So this is that triangle that I talk about when I talk about that grand trine in air, bringing this beautiful rainbow energy into the moon. That's your energy, Pisces. Infusing the divine feminine within you with Venus in Libra and the other outer planets trining to bring you a blessing. If you want to claim anything that I shared in this reading, in the comments below, or leave me a comment, I love hearing from you. Aquarius, Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius. You are ready for new scenery. You are ready to expand. That is what I see overall for your month. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that's true for you. The focus for you this month with the new and full moons is on the axis of the 3rd and the 9th house. And the 9th house is the house of expansion, learning and growth, higher learning, taking a course, expanding in some way, new scenery, long distance travel, opening your mind up to new possibilities. The month will begin with Libra season happening in your 9th house. And so with the sun in your 9th house, it is shining its life force energy on you. And Venus will be here too, saying, let's take an adventure. Let's do something fun. Some of you could be thinking about moving to another country even. Or your mind is expanding. I'm getting a vision of hot air balloons now. Your mind is expanding. There's something new and different that would be, if you do something fun, I don't even know. I think I was on a hot air balloon so many, it feels like eons ago. But something that is novel for you that really feels expansive, where you can go up into the air and see everything else below you. Or if it's not that, maybe you're watching geography channels, or you're reading about other cultures. All of these things fall within the 9th house. And then Aquarius, your energy makes a beautiful trine to Libra energy. And so that's just a lovely flow. Blessings falling into your lap. Then we have the Aries full moon. The Aries full moon is also very harmonious with your energy. It's fire to your air. And this is happening in the 3rd house. So the 3rd house is also learning and growth, but it's happening at a more local level. It is all of your errands moving. I call it the house of moving and shaking. It's, the things that you do on a daily basis that involve other people, or where you come into contact with other people. And Aquarius, it could involve, if you want to start your own business, or you're already in your own business, it could involve, there could be an uptick for you of transactions, buying, selling, people purchasing your products or your services, starting a new website, revamping a website, adding a page to your website, also your neighborhood, relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, communication, your mindset, short trips, devices and cars. Because it's a full moon, it's a completion, ending, culmination. I will do a separate video for you. I always do on the new and full moons. But for now, just know that you could be manifesting something here too. Some of you could be, for example, you get a new device, or you get a new car, or you decide to take a trip, you decide to take a weekend trip, or, even just a day trip. Again, remember that your mind, your spirit, they want to expand this month. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you're feeling that. I know we're not quite in October when this video goes live, but there's a sense of I'm ready to learn something new. That's also the third house. Maybe you want to write, maybe you want to publish, maybe you want to broadcast, maybe you want to do a podcast, or you're just, I was going to use the word imbibing. You're just imbibing in those things. You're gathering information. You're doing more research. You're taking in, I don't really like to use the word consuming because it has a negative connotation, but you're filling up perhaps with knowledge, with research that you do, with information. And it's meant to really fill you with passion, to ignite your passion, to inspire you, Aquarius. That's important. Then we have the new moon in Libra, and I already mentioned it's in the ninth house of expansion. That's where the sun will be, will be in the beginning of this month. And a new moon is saying set intentions for how you want to expand. You want to do it through learning another language? Do you want to do it through taking a course? Do you want to do it through learning astrology? Or do you want to get in your car and go, or do you want to get on a plane and you want to take a cruise? What is lighting you up when you think about new scenery, new possibilities, all of that? You get a trine, and trines are just the wind at your back and something falls into your lap, or you just know, it's just a just know. I just know I have to do this. I just know I'm doing this. And then you do it. When the sun goes into Scorpio, the energy shifts. Your focus will very possibly shift. This is the 23rd of the month when the sun goes into Scorpio. Mars and Mercury will already be in Scorpio. And now we've got a stellium of planets, 3 or more planets, a stellium in your 10th house of career, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement, how you want to spend your time, what brings you meaning, what brings you purpose, what fills you with passion. That is the 10th house, and it's how we spend our time, a lot of our time. And with so many planets here, there could be a lot going on in your career. A lot. Just a lot of communication, emails, conversations, you taking action, you making bold moves, perhaps, you cutting ties. Scorpio can cut ties too. This is the area of Scorpio energy. We have to set boundaries. Complicated situations can come up. There's a lot going on this month with the fixed energy in Pluto. Go back and watch the first part of this video if you want to know more about that. But also I'll tell you, like Scorpio energy, this Aquarius, most likely it squares you, and those squares can bring tension and pressure to take action. And Pluto's in your sign, and Pluto will be activated this month. It was already activated at the end of September by Mars, will be activated by Mercury and the sun in Scorpio this month. So you could be making some decisions. You could be setting some boundaries. You could be realizing what or who is aligned with you and what is not aligned with you. So it's about finding a balance, and it's about staying true to yourself and honoring your needs and respecting your space, emotionally, mentally, your workspaces, your desires. Some of you may be retiring. Some of you may be changing jobs. Some of you may be starting your own business, or saying, I'm never going to work for another person again. I'm only going to be my own boss, so to speak, from now on. You could really be in a time of taking action on your purpose, or what will bring you fulfillment. So Aquarius, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Aquarius, your card is communicate, talk to the moon. So Aquarius, you are an air sign. You are very strong in your communication. This is saying talk to the moon, right? The day that I am making this video, which is right before It's a couple days before it goes live. We have a crescent moon in the sky right now, and the moon is waxing, it's growing. And so if you watch this video the day that it goes live on Sunday, it will still be in that growing phase. It's going to be in the waxing phase for a while until we have the Aries full moon. And that's October 6th and 7th, depending on your time zone. So this is saying, talk to the moon, talk to the goddess of the moon, communicate what your desires are, communicate your needs, be the co-creator of this next manifestational cycle for yourself. Beautiful Aquarius, if anything I shared in this reading resonates and you want to comment and share with me, I would love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, the focus for you this month of October, I believe, will be balancing. We're all doing a balancing this month. The balancing axis for you is your 4th and 10th houses of home, family, emotional security, your roots, your sense of belonging, and your 10th house of career, profession, if you don't have a career, retirement, semi-retirement, life purpose, express your passion, what brings you meaning and fulfillment, the legacy you want to leave, where you might want to be recognized. That's the balance that you are meant to strike this month. We're encouraged to, we're supported to create a balance after fairly intense. You may not have felt it as intensely. The eclipse season in Virgo Pisces, that really harmonized with your energy. So it could have been stimulating for you, but not too stressful. But, it depends on your natal chart and all the different planets and points that you have in different places. That's how we know how it affected you. Of course, you know how it affected you. Leave me a comment if you want to share. But now we're coming into more of an equilibrium. That's what we're supported to do. And my message for you, my headline for you is you're moving into action. Why do I say this? Well, the month begins with the sun shining brightly, activating your life force in your 10th house of career, legacy, all the things that I mentioned before, the same themes, which is how you spend your time, how you want to spend your time. And it's moving you into action because it squares your energy, and squares bring tension, pressure that then activate us to make some sort of a move. It could be a career move. It could be a home move. I don't necessarily mean you're moving your career, you're leaving your home, more that you're doing something to bring more fulfillment or to bring it more into alignment with you and your energy now. Then we have an Aries full moon that also squares your energy. That's an ending, a completion, a graduation moment. I talk about who will most feel this based on the degrees of your energy, Capricorn, in part 1 of this video. But it can also be a manifestation. So this is where a full moon in Aries in your 4th house, that's when we tend to see if it is activating any planets or points for you. That's when we tend to see some movement, like you could actually move, or someone could move out of your house, or someone could move into your house, or a family member. Something big could be happening with a family member that then takes your focus and some of your energy. You could be doing inner child healing or ancestral, work on your shadow work on your ancestral line. You could be focused on roots, where, rooting yourself deeply into where you are, or another place, looking for where you would feel most rooted, a sense of belonging. It's going to be a very deep inner transit for you in your inner world, or show up in your outer world. Could be building a house, remodeling, all those things, of course. And it's a full moon, so it also activates your 10th house of life purpose, career, retirement, and so on. So either of those areas of your life could be coming into play for you during this month. We have a new moon in Libra in that 10th house of career, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement. These themes keep getting repeated, so I won't belabor the same words over and over. But just know that that's why I said moving into action for you, because this is very activated for you this month. But then this focus is going to shift when the sun moves into Scorpio. When the sun moves into Scorpio and joins Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, and where is that for you? That's in your 11th house of fulfillment. So Scorpio season, which begins on the 23rd, and even before the sun gets there, Mercury and Mars will be there. And so you could feel a strong draw to your 11th house, the areas of your 11th house, which it's the world, basically. It's the outer world. It's kind of like if you had a telescope I'm getting this image of someone with their telescope, and they're looking out and they're looking at, all these options and choices in areas of the world, and they're deciding, where do I want to be? What would light me up? What would fulfill me? That's the vibe I'm getting for you. But you could feel this in your friendships. You could feel it in any meetups that you do. If you go to a regular church, or you go to you're involved in some sort of community group. You could feel this with people that you would call supporters or allies. You could feel it in the area of your finances. This house is connected to long-term financial gains as well. You could feel it in an online presence if you have one. A lot of us, not all, a lot of us have social media. Some of us just use it for very personal reasons, and other people use it to help, promote or get the word out or connect with people. Like I have Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, obviously, and I like to pick photos and things like that out to people to stay connected. So that's another way that you can use this energy of the 11th house. But really what it's saying and asking you is, what's your next area of exploration that will bring joy to your heart? That's Scorpio season for you. What's over and complete with you? The World card in the tarot with the 11th house is saying something is completed. You have done a full circle journey, and now it is time to come back to asking again, Capricorn, what would light me up now? Some of you could be doing some promoting or branding of your work. Could be, doing some what we call networking, right? Online work too, online dating. So I think because of Pluto squaring this energy, the Scorpio energy this month, I think some of you may get a profound truth revealed or realization, or have a breakthrough that changes things up in powerful, positive ways, that makes you feel more free, maybe emotionally free, maybe makes you feel like I can start again. Those words starting over have a really negative connotation, right? The older we get, the less we want to say, I'm starting over. Sometimes it can make us feel like we failed. But on a soul level, that's just our programming, right? On a soul level, the more experiences that we have that our soul draws us to, the more growth and learning we do, and the more our soul can expand and have opportunities, because our human selves want to do a lot of the same things over and over because it's comfortable. It can be passionate too. Totally. I'm not saying like everything is just about staying comfortable, but the soul thrives. The soul thrives on new and different and exploring. And it's just our conditioning that says somehow we did something wrong if we're in that situation. I'm speaking very broadly here, of course, but I think a lot of people, the older we do get, feel that their counterparts who've been in the same job for 30 years and retiring with a pension at 62 or whatever, and a lot of people who've been on a spiritual path, who've done a lot of different things, haven't had that conventional life, and that's not their life's trajectory. And so I'm just bringing it up for any of you who might feel that way, because I got that sense of like some of you may feel like you are starting over, regardless of your age. It really doesn't, it's not about age. So let me pull a card for you now, Capricorn, and let's see what the cards have to say. And Capricorn, you have a very traditional side. Now I see why that came up, because you have a very traditional side, Capricorns do. And sometimes you could feel on a spiritual path that your life has been anything but traditional. And there's a lot to celebrate in not doing traditional things. I know we have many facets. We are multifaceted. None of us are stereotypes. Okay, I've been talking for a long time. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorn. Moon cycles, patience. Check it out. You could feel like you've been in a dry spell. You see the cacti, you see the desert. This is saying track your moon cycles. Notice when you have fruitions or something, or illuminations, something coming to a head, something revealed, often during a full moon, sometimes during new moons too, eclipses especially. Notice when you are working, you're building toward something. When the moon is waning, that's often when we're releasing and letting go. Notice, track your moon cycles. You could have a moon cycle diary and track them to see that you are moving in alignment with the moon, the new moons, the full moons, the waning moon, the waxing moon, the crescent moon, the last quarter moon, and so on. And have patience, because something right now is potentially building for you and you may not see it until we get to the full moon. Beautiful Capricorn, if anything I shared resonates for you and you want to leave a comment, I love your comments. Thank you for sharing. Happy October to you. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Sag, you are going to experience, I believe, this month a focus between balancing your desires for creative expression, for fun, for pleasure, for comforts, for love and romance, frivolity, your inner child delight. You're balancing that with the world, putting your creative expression out into the world, interfacing with other people, having meetings, having coffee dates, having some of you online dating, some of you, creating an online presence, some of you, meeting people that way. But this is also your friends. This is also like hanging out with friends. It's allies and supporters, long-term financial gains. The world is the 11th house, which I'm talking about. It's a completion. And so I feel that something is being sparked for you this month. Something's being sparked in your creativity and something is completing, or you are manifesting and putting something out, expressing something in that more worldly arena. My headline for you is stay true to yourself. Take your time, stay present, because the energy is going to shift when we get into Scorpio season on the 23rd. Before that, the sun will be in Libra. That's happening in your 11th house of the world, a fulfillment of, the current dream of your life. 11th house transits can be so lovely. I love 11th house transits. They can bring some money in that you weren't expecting. They can bring like returns on investments. They can feel like a fresh start. You can feel like you're really supported. If you have any sort of presence online, if you have a YouTube channel or you have, you put your work out through social media, it can be time of getting a lot of positive feedback from people. That's always lovely when you're working hard on putting things out to people, especially when you don't get paid to do that. So that's where Libra season is happening for you. That's where we're going to have the new moon as well. I'll get to that in a moment. First, we have the full moon in Aries. Ending, completion, graduation moment, full circle manifestation. Something could be blooming for you during this full moon. Some truth could come to light, a realization. That's happening in your 5th house of children, creativity, parenting, love and romance, your own inner child, enjoying life, the house of joy. What a beautiful place, Sag, to have a full moon. It trines your energy. Both the Libra, Aries, and Aries energy, they harmonize with you. The Aries full moon will trine you. It's just a beautiful, beautiful full moon for you. I love this full moon. What do you want to manifest? What is completing? What are you graduating from? A full moon here could have to do with something with a child. It could have to do with becoming pregnant or giving birth, or something is going on. Maybe one of your children is having a big moment that you're celebrating. Could be celebrations for you. The new moon is going to take us into your 11th house of fulfillment, and it's saying this is the time to plant seeds for what would most fulfill you. This is the time to be, it's a new energy. So it's a vision, it's a dream, it's a fresh start. It could have to do with friendships for you, an online presence, supporters, allies, long-term financial gains, promotion, branding of something, branding of services or products. So, a lot of you could be saying, what's next for me? What does my heart want? Do I want to travel? Long distance travel doesn't fall specifically in the 11th house, but the 11th house is that new sort of big picture. What does my heart want now? And for you, if that's travel, That's where you could be, that could be your new dream. Or you could be saying, I really want to create a platform through which I can share my heart, my passion, what's most important to me. The focus, as I said, is going to shift when we get to Scorpio season. That's on the 23rd. And the sun is going to be in Scorpio, and it's going to join Mercury and Mars in Scorpio in your 12th house. So your energy could get quieter. You could feel more drained in Scorpio season. You could feel like, I just want to rest. It's the house of rest and retreat. You could feel like, I want to contemplate my dream. I want to write to spirit, which I teach you how to do in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. You could be deciding to do more prayer, more meditation. You want to do guided visualizations. I have 3 free guided visualizations, meditations on my YouTube channel in the description box below. I also have one that you can download from my website for free when you sign up to get my weekly articles, my weekly inspirational astrology updates. So those are some ways that you can be supported in your 12th house transit. It's very active for you to have Mercury, Mars, and the sun all transiting your 12th house. I feel like some of you are deciding to start a spiritually based business, or getting a lot of activity in your dreams, or channeling, or thinking about doing mediumship work, tarot cards, astrology, anything that has you helping others heal in some way, or helping others awaken, helping others raise their vibration. That's 12th house energy as well. Or you could be, thinking about working in a job or an environment that's 12th house related, such as a prison, a hospital, a retreat center, something where people are recuperating and healing. And some of it is where you can go and be like in a prison, you can go and you can help other people heal. You can bring yoga into prisons. You can bring motivation, a lot of different ways to help people that are in confinement, right? But the 12th house is where we can feel like we want to be just in our own space. We just want to be in our own space. We want to be in our own energy. So if that happens for you, Sag, just know that that's very natural. There could be a lot that's going on in your inner world. Sometimes we need time for what we most want to incubate inside and do that reflection, or pulling the weeds from our inner garden too. So let's see what the cards have to say. And the 12th house is related to karmic endings, karmic completions, karmic relationships, soul contracts ending too. So there could be a lot going on for you internally from the 23rd on, or even before that, when Mars and Mercury are in your 12th house as well. Sag, let's see what the cards have to say for you. I think it's going to be a really interesting month for you. I think it's going to be a great month for you with the Aries full moon trining your energy, the new moon in Libra, sextiling your energy, opportunities and solutions. And your card is the yin moon, accept help. Don't try to do it by yourself, Sag. Accept help. Do you have questions about something you're moving through? Do you feel like you need more empowerment? Do you feel like you need more something, more information, more support? If so, this card is saying, accept help. You're not meant to do this alone. There's help out there for you. If you have any limiting beliefs that say you should already know, or that have you questioning, what will people think of me if I ask them? What will, all that inner stuff that can go on that can keep us from asking for help. Know that you are meant to reach out and get the help so that you can move forward feeling fully empowered. And sometimes we need someone to mirror back to us the truth of who we are, which is what I do for clients, by the way, in astrology consultations and coaching. Beautiful Sag, of anything that I shared, if you want to claim that you have support and help in the comments below, or share anything else, leave me a comment if you'd like to. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for the October astrology. Thank you for giving this video a like. Thank you for giving it a thumbs up, for commenting. I love hearing from you. for sharing this video with others. All the ways that you support this channel really make a huge difference. Thank you for subscribing. When you subscribe, you trigger the algorithm to put this video out to more people who love astrology, and this is how the channel can grow. If you'd like to do a private astrology consultation with me, I would absolutely love to meet you on Zoom. I would love to support you. Go to my website. There are testimonials on both my astrology and coaching pages that give you a sense of whether you feel called to work with me. And in terms of astrology consultations, lots of offerings for you: life purpose, heart's desire, natal chart, as well as 90-minute and relationship harmony consultations. I love helping you by sharing your chart, your soul's blueprint with you, gifts, talents, potentials, what stands out about you, and your challenges too. I see the challenges in your chart as well, and I love helping to support and empower you to move through those and become stronger as a result. We will go through the transits of the next several months and anything that is most on your heart and mind right now. I love applying the astrology that I see in your chart and transits to that, so you can come away feeling validated, supported, and ready to move forward. The links to my coaching and astrology pages are in the description box below, so you can check that out. And I have a free gift for you. To get your free gift, it's a free guided meditation. It is soothing. It is designed to connect you to your unconditionally loving source, to spirit, to any guides that you work with. You will receive a gift from the divine. If you would like to download it from my website, just go to my homepage, sign up to get my free inspirational astrology updates, and you will get an instant download at the same time. My beautiful friend, let me know what you are thinking, feeling, sensing about October's astrology. I love hearing from you. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.